These are the plaintiffs, Chris and Billy Joe Stoneback. They say they purchased what they thought was a brand new refrigerator from the defendants, and when they plugged it in at home, a chill ran through their bones because they were scammed. That's right, the thing was a piece of junk with a manufacturer's defect, and it has to be scrapped. The defendants are ignoring them, so they're suing for the return of their hard-earned $2,694.94. These are the defendants, Peggy Lee Aloser and Carlos Aloser Diaz. They say the fridge was plugged in and there was a frozen bottle of water in the freezer to demonstrate to the plaintiffs it worked when they bought it. The plaintiffs, however, tipped it over on its side so it would fit in their truck and must have damaged it during transport. They're accused of selling a hot refrigerator.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Chris and Billy Joe Stoneback?
Yep.
You are suing Peggy Lee
Alcocer
for $2,694.94 in damages that you say you were out as a result of what you say is a fraudulent sale by them of a refrigerator. Tell me what's going on.
Well, on the 7th, my wife called me and told me that her fridge was bad, quit working. So I started searching Craigslist because he didn't want to buy a brand new one.
Brand new one might work.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
It would have been
But
bad.
anyway, I ran across Peggy's ad, and I called her up early that morning because it was a good deal. It appeared to be a good deal. I have original ad if you want to see it.
Yes, I do.
And that's it there. But anyway, we made a deal, went down there.
For sale by owner, brand new, never used. LG 4-door French door, shiny new black refrigerator with slim space, blah, 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 blah. We paid $26.99, only used it to stage an executive home we were selling. Is this year's model still available in the stores? Asking $950. All right, so if it looks too good to be true, it usually is, but not for you. So what do you do?
Well, we went down there, met them.
What's down there?
Went down to Oregon. We live in
long?
Washington. They're in Beaverton,
So
Oregon.
it's how far a drive for you?
Hillsboro. It's a 2.5-hour drive.
Okay, so you
But it's worth it. I mean, at that price, it would have been worth it.
Plus, it's a nice drive.
If it worked, yeah, it was a nice
Plus,
drive.
it's a beautiful drive.
One
right?
time is nice.
One time is nice? Go ahead.
So we drove down there and loaded the fridge, and her husband Carlos, he measured my trailer, and the fridge would have fit standing up in the trailer, so we laid it on its side, resting on. I had brought a hand cart in case they didn't have one, and we laid it on that, at an angle, which they recommended.
Now, according to you, he says you recommended transporting it on its side. You thought it was a good way to do it, and
Absolutely
you
not.
disagree with that. But did you say to him, don't do that, or that's not your job?
Yes, several times, and my husband offered to help him disconnect the trailer from his pickup truck.
Right, and then he said what?
And he said, no, it'll fit without your dolly, and they dropped the refrigerator against the bottom of their trailer as they were loading it in, and then scraped it.
And we got pictures of it.
And at that point, I began to take pictures.
At that point, you start taking pictures to protect yourself.
Yes.
And you actually have pictures to show me to buttress your version that they're damaging the refrigerator.
Yes,
show me the pictures.
The one with the J.
Now you get the refrigerator home, you stand it upright, and you try to get the refrigerator working. Is it in your kitchen? You put it in?
No, we put it in the kitchen, plugged it in.
And?
It didn't. Waited 2 hours, nothing happened. No, it wasn't cooled or anything. So I thought, well, maybe we did damage it bringing it home.
Okay, there's a big old dent in the back of the refrigerator, though. Was that sold to you that way? Take a look at the bottom dent that's there. Was that sold to you that way? Or is that something that, that's like, you can't miss that. That's pretty.
No, that actually is a very thin piece of aluminum that it got hung up on the edge. And
okay, so that you acknowledge that was.
That is a cover.
That's fine. You acknowledge that was.
Yes, it is there.
It's something that happened in transport. All right. So go on. So now the thing won't chill. Wow, that's a lot. Wow, look at that one.
But what you're looking at, you think is a lot of damage.
But it's not.
No damage at all.
So tell me this then. You get it home and you can't get it working, so what do you do?
We took it into the appliance repairman, and we're going to see if he could fix it, because we paid $950 for it, and if it's a $3,000 fridge, I'm willing to pay $500 more to get it fixed.
Right.
We drop it off of there, and he said, I'll get back to you Monday. This is on a Friday.
Right.
I drive home. Before I get in the door, he said, yeah, I pulled the back off that. And he says, where'd you get that refrigerator? And I said, I bought it on Craigslist. And he goes, that refrigerator should never been sold again. He said, it's been, for one thing, the compressor had been replaced. It's had extensive repair work done to it already. The compressor had been replaced. They cut the power cord and pulled the service tag is what he told me. And he says, I've been in the business for over 20 years, and this is what I do when an insurance adjuster has deemed the product the manufacturer's defect, and they say it's meant for scrap.
It's meant for scrap.
Scrap. I have his notarized statement also.
Show me pictures. You have some pictures, and I have some photocopies of it. I want to see if you have the actual pictures of what your repairman says he saw when he opened up the back.
Oh, okay.
You first learned now. Do you call them to say to them when you learned this from your repairman? You call them to say I want my money back, or you don't have a number?
I call the repairman?
No. When the repairman gives you this info that you're telling me, what do? You call?
I called them several times with no reply, and I wasn't going to leave a message for one fact that the guy told me that we'd been scammed. The repairman did. He said he's seen it before.
So you would call and just and then not leave a message. So how do you finally get a hold of them?
Well, after many internet searches of trying to figure out their name, for one thing, all I had was
how do you not know the
ad.
name of the people you bought the $1,000 appliance from? You didn't.
It was like I said, it was
I realize you've known each other all your lives because you met on Craigslist, but maybe like asking for ID would be a good idea when you make a $1,000 purchase, right? For both sides?
It would have been, but like I said, we were in a hurry.
Plaintiffs thought they got a great deal, a $2,699 new fridge for $950. Problem is, it didn't work. Was it a clunker, or did the plaintiffs damage it during the transport home? Let's listen.
Now I'm seeing all these pictures, and it is very obvious that there has been some work done to this thing, so I'll let you address that in a moment. But so you end up contacting them again, pretending to be a buyer for another item. Was it that other refrigerator?
It was whatever it was.
So you guys get brought there on false pretenses, and what happens?
Well, actually, while we were sitting there waiting and the person wasn't showing up, I dialed the number back that this Zelda called from, and it was a fax machine. And I heard the fax beeping in my ear. And so then I got scared. I told my husband, I said, you know what? When this person called, and I said, it didn't sound right, because I asked their name and they said, Zelda. And so that sounded fishy to me. He said, you know, with that.
How'd you come up with Zelda?
Mary. It was Mary. It was no Zelda.
Okay, go on.
It was Zelda. I even wrote it in with that phone number on my phone. I wrote Zelda.
Got it.
So my husband said, you know, that doesn't sound kosher, and this is Craigslist. Maybe we ought to just go, maybe somebody wants to rob us or something.
Right. So you're going, and what happens?
So we start to leave, and they pull in very quickly behind us.
Okay.
And they jumped out of the car, and they started yelling for us to get out of the car. You know who we are, don't you? And we're like,
exactly who they were.
And my husband
we saw them like last week. We saw them.
Yeah. And my husband said, what's going on? And he said, you guys are so good, you don't even know how good you are.
Okay.
And I said, what's going on? What is that supposed to mean? And he said that refrigerator was junk. It was scrap. It's been repaired 5 times, and that pretty much that's all he said about the refrigerator. And we're like, is the refrigerator working, or what's going on exactly? And then my husband said, where is the refrigerator? Let's see what's going on. And they didn't have the refrigerator there. And he said, you're going to give us our money back. I'll go if you give me my money. And I said, well, I was kind of afraid of them at that point. While he was shaking a handful, like a dossier of papers on us in my husband's face, his wife was standing behind him, and she was wringing her hands, and she was actually hopping like a bunny rabbit. She's zigzagging back and forth and all very antsy. And I thought it was very strange, unusual behavior. And so I said, my mother-in-law has that money. Because we don't have it, it was hers. And so they wouldn't think we had money, because I'm still thinking we're getting robbed here or something. This isn't right. They don't have the refrigerator, yet they're demanding money. And so then he said and he kept pointing at my husband.
I don't have the money. And he said, well, you gonna go get the money, and he pointed to my wife, and you gonna stay here till he gets back.
Yeah.
My wife said, "Why you kidnapping me?"
Yeah, I was petrified at that point, but trying to act like not. It wasn't a good idea to even stand there at all when we were feeling like we were being robbed, and all I wanted to do
so
was
did you get in the car and
there.
leave?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's what I would advise, because you were acting like a crazy man. This is not how, stop, listen. This is not how you go about this kind of thing. This is not, no, what part of listen was confusing? The way you go about this thing is differently than this. I realize that at this point you're crazed, because now you're thinking, yeah, I've been robbed, these people are scam artists, and you want your money, and that's the only thing you're thinking about. But you don't know them. They could be homicidal maniacs. He could turn around and tell people you threatened his wife and then pull out a gun and shoot. Are you out of your mind? What is wrong with you? You're acting like reckless children. You're not reckless children. I'm looking at you. And this is crazy. But, you're trying to be like, Rambo, as opposed to going through it. And then if they say, no, too bad, so sad, sold as is, then you file a lawsuit. That's how you're supposed to go about it. Or pick up the phone, call the police. They're going to say they're not going to get involved, but it'll make you feel better, so you do that. But not go over there and tell her, you stay here, you go get my money. I mean, that's sort of nuts. But in any event, no, I don't want to hear it.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So, you see an ad, a refrigerator is like $2,700, but it's being advertised $950 for you. Would you buy it?
No, I'd be kind of suspicious. Maybe something's wrong with it.
Is it possible to get a deal like that?
No, I don't think so at all.
What do you think?
Just too many people out there to get a quick deal. I don't think I would do it.
You wouldn't do it even if you needed a refrigerator? Even if it looked pretty?
No, I would shop around first.
Fair enough. Going inside the courtroom.
Now you tell me, what am I supposed to do with the fact that there are pictures of the refrigerator with spliced wires, a compressor that has been replaced? What am I supposed to do with that when you have an ad that says brand new? Right.
Well, and the ad was placed by my mother-in-law and her boyfriend. When they placed the ad, of course, the refrigerator, she may have used the terminology in there, new. And but she did, brand new, right? Because
but what terminology she didn't use? Compressor's been replaced,
right? Well, and
I know the compressor
she did purchase
not just because the appliance place tells me, but I took the trouble of contacting LG. This compressor's been replaced. And you advertise it as brand new.
Right. She wasn't the owner, apparently, at the time when it was replaced, because she never had anything done like that. And she did buy it used.
Who was the owner when it got replaced?
She purchased the refrigerator also on Craigslist herself from a contractor.
Well, then I guess it's been used by a family. Because in the advertisement, it says never been used by a family. It has only been used to be staged, and that's false now. Because she purchased it from somebody else.
No, she purchased it from a contractor who used it to sell one of his model homes, which is what gave her the idea. That's why I should use it to stage my home. Well, the bottom line is that the
advertising was false, right?
Actually, Your Honor, I have from LG themselves, from their website, and in a chat with me and LG as to how you're supposed to take a refrigerator.
I don't care.
Damage
I don't care, because you sold them a brand new one. What you gave them instead was one that had a new compressor. Stop talking. This could not be clearer. Now, let's discuss how you have turned a $950 and some change lawsuit into a $3,000 lawsuit. $950 for the refrigerator. There's no dispute that's what they paid for their fridge, right?
Right.
Okay. $400 for lost food. Why don't you explain to me how you lost $400 on a food in a refrigerator I'm not done with my question. On a refrigerator that didn't get cold. How would you put $400 worth of food into a refrigerator that didn't get cold?
That was in our first refrigerator.
Why did it get lost?
Because it thawed out. And, you're not supposed to rethaw meat.
Why was it thawed out? Where'd you put it in between buying the new refrigerator and losing your old refrigerator?
In ice chests on our deck.
Then why did you take it out of the ice chest?
We had nowhere to put it.
But I don't understand. It was in the ice chest. You're not making sense. Stop. I want to point out how you're not making sense, and I'm expecting you to give up, and then you just keep going in the same circles. If in fact your refrigerator broke, and then you bought a new one, in the meantime, you put it somewhere. You should have kept it somewhere when this new fridge wasn't working. But you don't get to jack up your lawsuit by 50%, claiming to have lost $400 worth of food. Do you have any proof of losing $400 worth of food?
No.
Of course not, because it didn't happen and you're a liar about that. All right. Because I find that the wording of the advertisement was false, either deliberately or not deliberately, I am finding in favor of the plaintiffs in the following amounts. The amount for the refrigerator, which was $950, not awarding them lost food, because I don't think there was any lost food. I think that's a lie. The amount for the repairman, because he only had to hire a repairman to find out that, in fact, you had sold him the refrigerator under false pretenses. The fuel over there twice, which he is out as a result of being sold something that was not in the advertisement, and fuel to get the thing assessed by the professional. I'm not awarding you $500 for lost time or $500 for emotional distress. This is a contracts case. Therefore, I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $1,177.49. Where's the refrigerator now?
It's at my house.
Okay, now we have the following issue. Because I'm ordering you to return this money, that refrigerator belongs to you. You're going to make arrangements outside with Officer McIntosh. If you're interested in picking up that refrigerator, you will have to make arrangements. I'm going to give you 2 weeks to make those arrangements. If you think that there's even the remotest chance that you will not be civil towards each other, then make sure that you contact the police department in his town to be there during the transfer. Okay? They'll do that.
problem with that.
Okay? All right. Good luck to everybody. $1,177.49 verdict for the plaintiff.
So the plaintiff gets this decision here in People's Court. Not everything they sued for. The defendant here pretty much lost this case because of false advertising. What's your feeling?
Well, I feel that the ad did go on to describe that it was indeed used for something, and then they did proceed to damage the refrigerator and take it in a manner that did damage it according to LG. I spoke with them.
You knew you exaggerated in your ad, right?
Well, yeah. Well, it is my mother-in-law's ad, and I can see where it said that it was brand new, but she did go on to define.
Okay, right down around the corner. Okay, very good. All right, step in here. What'd you do wrong here that you've learned about now and you'll never do again?
Buy on Craigslist.
Oh, how about blowing up your lawsuit trying to get as much as you can out of the court? How'd that go for you?
That wasn't really blown up, actually. You know, she has her opinion, and she believed all the SARS wanted there, and that's it. I mean, we had no contact with them. No
Harvey?
contact.
Okay, Kurt, if you buy something like a refrigerator and it doesn't work and you suffer additional damages like spoiled food, you got to be able to document it. You got to, take photos, do something to document that it really did happen. In this case, I mean, the plaintiffs were just lying, but you should take pictures and in some way show the date to show that you're not pulling a fast one. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.